What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Blindside Sports. My name is Emmett Douglas, and joining me today is a producer at Fox Sports Radio. He's a San Diego guy. His first name is Brandon. His last name is Truffa. He's known as the Truth on The Odd Couple. At B Truffles on Twitter and Instagram. Brandon, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good, Emmett. Thank you so much for having me again. Back
Yeah,
again.
yeah. The whole format's changed here. I mean, same room and everything, but different way of recording. We're live now. We're big time. I had Jonas on a second time a while ago, and he was like, your show's completely changed, man. But I'm glad to have you back on because I feel like you're the perfect guy to bring on for this Final Four weekend here. San Diego State is going to take on FAU, and to start it off before we get into some like real analysis here, Arnie picked FAU, so it's looking good for you, man. It's looking good for you.
Well, I mean, I that's what Chris told me last week. As soon as he picked FAU, Chris went on air and said, "Congratulations, Brandon." So
yeah, I tweeted that too.
No, I'm this whole tournament, honestly, I've just been really, really, really cautiously optimistic about San Diego State. Especially after the way they kind of unceremoniously were eliminated the previous two seasons, and kind of how they were jobbed out of a chance at a tournament run in 2020 when they went 30-2. So this whole time, and you can ask any of the editors, any of my fellow producers like Bershinger, Bo, you can ask anybody. The whole time, San Diego State, throughout this whole tournament, I said, as long as San Diego State makes it to the Sweet 16, I will be happy. Anything after that is just really icing on the cake. Is just like, would be a bonus, would be extra. And here we are in the Final Four. I honestly, I'm at a loss for words. I can't believe it. People keep telling me congratulations. I didn't do anything. I can't really take credit for anything. I just went to the school. But I'm excited. I'm really, really, really excited to see this program finally get the national recognition they rightfully deserve, because they've honestly been one of the most consistent programs in college basketball in the last 15 years. And people don't really notice it because they play in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
And most of their games start at 10:30 on the East Coast, sometimes even late as 11. So it's just great to see them finally get that national recognition.
Yeah, and it's really cool to me because this whole NCAA tournament, and I don't know if you heard my call to Ben the other day after your Sunday shift when I was saying that basically I'm a fan of this Final Four. I mean, the thing that I have against college football, I don't know if you're in agreement with me on this, is that I just think all the parity, there's no parity in college football. I feel like it's either Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, like Ole Miss, or like whatever. But this, man, for college basketball, you got San Diego State, who's never made a Final Four. You got FAU. You've got Miami, who've all never made Final Fours. And then you've got UConn, who's shout out Aaron Torres, who's made it before, and they've done things in the tournament. But
four national championships, I believe, for UConn.
Yeah, that sounds right. So, I mean, for FSR kind of purposes, I mean, U versus Torres, SDSU versus UConn in the championship. I mean, that would be kind of cool. But yeah, this whole tournament to me has been very awesome. I really enjoyed the all these upsets at unrelated to SDSU, but that Gonzaga game last week against UCLA was absolutely wild with Drew Timme there. So the question I want to ask you, being a San Diego State graduate, lived in San Diego most of your life, what does this mean to the city and to the school?
Oh man, well, I mean, I kind of went into it a little bit in the opening monologue. It's just it's really just kind of this program finally getting the national recognition. Like I had been saying, the past 15 years, San Diego State has had one of the best winning percentages in college sports. They haven't had a losing season. I got their stats pulled up right now. They haven't had a losing season since 2004, 2005. And
Wow.
the worst
The year I
they
was born.
finished, the worst they finished was in 2016, 2017, where they only had 19 wins. They still had 19 wins that year and a winning record. They went 9-9 in the conference, which is, I believe, their worst conference record in those 15 years. And that was Steve Fisher's final season, 2016, 2017. And from there, Brian Dutcher took over. And if you really want to get into it, I mean, Steve Fisher was the man who brought San Diego State back to relevance. I mean, the program was literally dead, Emmett. Like, nobody was going to games. It was underfunded. The arena was completely barren. No one cared about the team. And then Steve Fisher comes over from Michigan after, putting together helping put together that Fab Five team, taking over and coaching Michigan to that 1989 national championship. And Brian Dutcher, the head coach of San Diego State now, he was with Fisher when he recruited the Fab Five at Michigan. And he's been with Fisher his entire career. And in 1999, Steve Fisher was hired by San Diego State. He called Brian Dutcher and he said, "Hey, I'm going to San Diego State. I want you to come with me. I need at least a 3-year commitment from you. Just give me 3 years. And then from there, you can go and you can get a head coaching job, do whatever you want. Just help me at least build the foundation of this program." And to Brian Dutcher's credit, he stuck around ever since then. And in 2000, I believe it was 2003, they officially gave him the title assistant coach, head coach in waiting, which is kind of like a funny way of saying, like, once Fisher retires, I mean, the program is yours, essentially. And Brian Dutcher held that title for almost 15 years. And in 2017, when Steve Fisher finally stepped down, Dutcher took over, and the first 2 years were kind of rough. Early, they missed the NCAA tournament. They lost in the first round. I believe his first year they lost in the first round. They missed the NCAA tournament the next year. And then that year, people were calling for Brian Dutcher's head. And then the team goes 30-2, right? And all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, like this is the team that could do it, because San Diego State's whole entire philosophy is defense.
Yeah.
They've always been a defensive school. And you can go back to the Kawhi Leonard days. You go back to those days and you just see how low those scoring games are. Like, they were winning games, 57-56, like we saw against Creighton this past weekend. Like, that's a classic San Diego State basketball score. You're not going to see. If
you're a San Diego State guy and you're a gambler, you're betting the under, right? I mean, that's just a certain thing you got to do right there.
Absolutely. Bet the under. And I would also not bet San Diego State to cover, because they hardly do. So at least it seems to me. But anyway, seeing them go 30-2, and that team that went 30-2, man, they had it all. They had the defense. They finally had scoring. You might be familiar with a couple names that were on that team. Malachi Flynn.
Yep.
He's a pretty good player in the NBA right now for the Toronto Raptors.
Yep.
Jordan Shackle. I mean, he's in the G League right now, but he had a good run with Washington, I believe the Wizards.
Yeah.
For a part of this year and a part of last year as well. But that team, man, they could score. They could shoot from three. They could play defense. Matt Mitchell. I mean, they were a really good team. And a lot of people picked them to be a team that could win a national championship. We're basically a pencil in for the Final Four. And then COVID hits. And the season is completely washed, or at least the tournament is completely washed. And we never got to see what
that is basically the season for college basketball, though. I mean,
yeah,
the tournament's so important to that sport. I mean, unless you're someone like Aaron Torres or Arnie or somebody like that, you're not watching every college basketball game in the regular season until March. I mean, that COVID year, I mean, to jump on that really quick, was just horrible for college basketball, and a lot of not even just college basketball. I mean, even it affected college football a lot too.
Oh yeah.
And we got these players who got another year or two of eligibility because of the COVID, and they got their chances to make the tournament ruined. So it definitely impacted you guys, and you never know, like the way these tournaments go, who knows what have happened to San Diego State in that COVID year. You could have gotten bounced first round, you could have won it all. You really never know, and that's like we said earlier, that's the beauty of the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean but that really felt like the last or like the best chance San Diego State would ever get at winning a tournament. That team. And then to see it just kind of get basically completely dashed and completely the opportunity taken away from them was really hard. And, the next 2 seasons, I mean, you see the team lose in the first round. They lose to, I forgot who they lost to in 2020 and 2021, I believe it was Syracuse, actually.
Probably, yeah.
They lose to Syracuse, and then they lose to Creighton in the first round last year. And it's just like, man, that 30-2 team, like still, if we could go back and just put those guys in there and just give those guys one more year, I'm sure they could run the table in the tournament.
Yeah.
And then this year, just having them make it all the way to the Final Four is absolutely insane, man. It's just, it came out of nowhere too, because like I said, as long as they made the Sweet 16, I would have been happy. I mean, they had a pretty good regular season record this year. They went 30. Well, they're 31-6, so I believe they went 27-6. That would be 26-6 this season for their overall record. They won the conference. They won the conference tournament. So, I mean, it's just amazing. And it means a lot to the city of San Diego, too, because, this is coming off the year that, the Padres make the NLCS. And then there's so much hype around the Padres this season. I mean, we got opening day today, and downtown is a zoo right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's a zoo. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they pushed the game time, I believe, back to 6:40 tonight because we're getting some rain. But I mean, it's great. There's the expectations are so high for the Padres. The whole focus is on, Machado, Soto, Bogarts, Tatis. Like,
when does Tatis come back?
Stacked lineup. 4/20, he comes back. April 20th.
There you go. I mean, that's not even that long. That's like 2-3 weeks from now. So
no, it's 3 weeks from now.
Yep.
3 weeks from today, he will be back playing in the Padres
20
uniform.
games.
So yeah, man, just seeing the hype around the Padres, and then the Aztecs to just make this run to just kind of like take away that thunder for a little bit, or to add on to the hype, is pretty crazy. Like, when they arrived back from Houston at 1 a.m. on Sunday, or early Monday morning, it would have been. They had a whole like cavalcade of people waiting for them at the Jam Center.
Wow.
Which is where or the Fowler Athletic Center, which is where they, the players have all their study stuff, and they meet
the
up.
Workout equipment and all that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, and then, sending them off yesterday, there was a whole crowd of people there chanting Aztecs, and I've got some friends who are going to Houston. I really wish I could go.
Ephraim's going to Houston, right?
Ephraim is going to Houston. I can't wait till I'm at Ephraim's level, and I could just call JD Wicker and say, hey, man, you got some tickets? Like, I wish I could get at that level.
Gotta love Ephraim Salam, man. I mean, he
and I were having so much fun on a Sunday.
Even if he's out Sunday, I mean, he's still calling in, and that's still gonna be a great guest spot. I mean, Ephraim's gonna be on cloud 9, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, like I said, I'm remaining cautiously optimistic. I'm trying not to, put what's the old saying, the wagon before the horse or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to put, trying to keep my expectations tempered. I'm like, all right, if they made it this far, I'm really happy. If they lose, that's going to suck. I'm going to be pretty disappointed. But at least they've made it this far. So I'm keeping my expectations and my mood kind of like pretty level.
Yeah. I mean, Arnie picking FAU definitely helped you. If I were you, I've been a lot more nervous if he picked San Diego State to win. But, kind of important question here. We'll get back to more basketball talk here in a minute, but where are you going to be watching the game? In the city, or are you going to be at your, family's house? Like, where are you doing for the game on Saturday? How are you taking it in?
I think I'm gonna go find like some sort of bar or meet up with some friends somewhere and watch the game that way.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's the way you got to do it. I mean,
yeah,
to see all the San Diego people just kind of grouped together as one community right there. I mean, that's really what's going to be. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any FAU fans in a San Diego bar. I mean, it's going to be a whole community.
No. Florida Atlantic, we don't.
Is there even a Florida Atlantic fan? I've never even heard of that school till like maybe this year. Like,
I mean, I think I've heard of the school. I actually have heard of the school, I believe. I think Lane Kiffin. Didn't Lane Kiffin coach there for like a season? Or he does coach there still?
Does he?
I think he does. If you want to look that up.
Yeah.
James, pull that up. Lane Kiffin. I thought he did. Because I think I know their football program because I think I was working a shift at my old radio station. And it was FAU against Navy. And there was a lightning delay. And it delayed the game by like an hour and a half. And I remember just being so upset that I was stuck at work for an extra hour and a half because like this irrelevant college football game, Navy versus FAU, was getting delayed.
Tom Herman is their football coach right now.
Yeah, I think Lane Kiffin used to be.
I think he did do it for a season because that sounds familiar.
I'll look it up real quick. Pretty sure he's by the way, this is great radio, just both of us looking up. Yeah, he did. 2017 to 2019, Florida Atlantic head coach, Lane Kiffin.
Hey, that's what made Florida Atlantic right there, Lane Kiffin.
It's a good poll. So
yeah, hot Florida Atlantic talk.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't know much about them, honestly. I mean, to get to Florida Atlantic, I guess I don't know much about them. The only thing I really do know is that they've had the best overall record in college basketball this year, which you got to respect them for. I mean, a lot of people, I think college basketball is really interesting because it's one of those. It's very different from college football in a sense that I think the playing field is a lot more even. Because you look at like the SEC compared to the Mountain West in football. I mean, obviously the SEC is better. There's no question.
Yeah, SEC.
If San Diego State went up against Alabama in football, Alabama would destroy them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not even a question. It would take a miracle for San Diego State to win.
It would be like a Madden score, like 75-0 or something. It would not be pretty.
But with college basketball, I think like kind of the flow of the game and kind of the way basketball is played where it's it's just the flow of the game and kind of the offensive and defensive strategies, as well as kind of like, I think their recruiting is a lot more spread out too. Like there's not your 10 schools that everybody knows where, you got Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson for college football.
Even Florida State back in the day too. I mean,
right. I mean, and I think for college basketball too, I think the transferring, I think, is a lot easier.
Yeah.
In a way, I haven't really experienced. I mean, I can't speak for it, but it seems like it would be a lot easier. And there's a lot more of it too, because you're not learning an entire new playbook. You're learning like, okay, some plays and some formations and sets. So then that's another thing too. That's what San Diego State has really kind of like benefited from is the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aaron tweeted it out a couple days ago when San Diego State won, where like San Diego State is one of the oldest college basketball teams.
Yes.
In the tournament, in terms of players on their team.
Yeah.
And the ages and their experience.
All those transfers, and then going back to the COVID year too. I mean, the extra year eligibility definitely helps out a couple of those players. So,
which Nathan Menza utilized. You've got a Quick Arope, who is a 5th year, Kashad Johnson, who's a 5th year, Matt Bradley, 5th year. I mean, most of their starting lineup is all 5th year guys. So they've been around the team and they've kind of been in kind of the mix. And then you have Jaden Ledee, guys who have transferred over for this season. So it's kind of like they have a lot of experience. They're really battle tested too. Like they've played a lot of basketball together. Adam Seiko is he's the all-time leader in San Diego State games played now, which is insane because he's been playing since basically 2017, 2016.
Yeah, that is wild.
Or 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
So they have experience playing together. They're a good group of guys, and hopefully they can pull it off on Saturday, but we'll see. Florida Atlantic does scare me. I'm not going to lie. Because, like I was kind of discussing the playing style of San Diego.
Yeah.
Of San Diego State is all defense. So, like, if San Diego State can at least get, 70 points out of their offense, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be a rock fight like it was against Creighton, then, it's going to be Florida Atlantic's got a chance.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe, just maybe, Arnie's pick will be right. Emmett Douglas alongside Brandon Truffa on Blindside Sports. Get me at EmmettNoC04 on Twitter. You can follow Brandon at BTruffles. Brandon, quickly here, you've done a lot of overnight shifts. I have a couple more questions on basketball. We'll get to that in a minute here. But you work the overnights, and you used to. Now you're doing Hartman and Bucky, and the middle of the day. What you've done a lot. You've probably dealt with a lot of callers. What's been your favorite caller or overnight radio moment? Because I'm sure people are watching this. I'm sure a lot of you, if you're even watching or if you're watching later, aren't up at 3 a.m. when Brandon's working or I'm listening to sports radio. So you don't know the shenanigans that go on the overnight radio. So put that into perspective with a crazy caller or crazy moment on the radio story.
Man. I mean, I remember the first Maller show I worked. That was really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, just hearing all the sound bites being fired off, I didn't know what was going on. That was a really fun shift. And then, I mean, you've always been a good caller. I'm not gonna lie. But you're not one of the crazy ones. You actually want to talk sports.
Yeah.
which is funny. So I think in terms of crazy callers, I mean, Dick and Dayton's pretty funny.
Oh, you gotta love the Dick. The Dick.
Yeah, he's great. I think one moment that really sticks out when he called in was Roberto. It was during Ben's show. And I think it was when the Bengals made the Super Bowl. I think it was. That
might have been your first shift to work in the Maller show too, because I think that's around that time, when you started producing.
I think I worked one or two before that, but I think it was the Bengals. The Bengals either made the AFC Championship or they just made the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Dick and Dayton calls in and he's like, "Oh, I'm happy about the Bengals." And blah blah blah, and so Ben's egging him on. He's just going with it. He's like, good job. And Roberto just turns on his mic and just goes, "Congratulations, Dick." And there was a long pause, and Dick and Dayton just goes, "Yeah, thanks, Ben." He thought it was Ben that said that. And Roberto and I just died laughing because this dude he just wants to hear himself talk.
One of my favorite Dick moments, this is another Roberto moment, was Roberto's one of the best in the business, man. This one, I believe it was it was a holiday show because I know you were, I think there's the same night I tried to get you to sing a song on air and Nick Cope couldn't come up with one. And Roberto is talking to him, and they're about to hang up on Dick, and Roberto's like, "Later, Dick."
Yeah, he does that. I love when Roberto just like goes, "Hey, Dick."
Yeah, he says "dick" with a lot of emphasis on it, and it makes it funny. I mean,
Really
also,
emphasizes the D.
yeah, that's a drop. Yeah, that I mean, there's a lot of good drops from Dick and Dayton,
Mhm.
or I don't know if you've been in when they try and I mean, you could use this too if you work Ben Show again, where you're trying to call someone a dick and you say a dick in Dayton, so it's a FCC approved.
Mhm.
Yeah, now obviously Marcel. I mean, Marcel is always
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring him up next.
Poppy in San
Mar-
Diego. Poppy in San Diego's a big fan of yours. He's a
yeah,
San
well,
Diego
he's
State
a
guy.
San Diego guy. Um, yeah, my second favorite caller's got to be or even my first would have to be Marcel.
Marcel's
Like
funny, man.
that guy's insane. He's so funny.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Food picks.
How'd you feel when you sang the Autumn Wind on the air?
Oh, that was fun. Yeah. Ben asked me to do that. And I was kind of hesitant at first because I know it's like kind of a joke and whatever. But then I thought, you know what? Like, who cares? I really don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta know how much. I mean, if you get, I don't know if Roberto or Marks showed you the wall of out of context drops, but you definitely probably have the least amount of a lot of those FSR guys. So
I mean, it's you know, you got to lean into the bit. Like you can't. That's the thing. Like if you mess up on air, or if you say something on air, or if you have some sort of like quirky thing about you that gets brought up on air,
Lee DeLapp has a lot of
people
those.
like make fun of you about it or whatever. You can't push back. You got to like lean into it.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
if you push
you
back,
heard two pros with Lee DeLapp, how hard they go on him. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Lee never gets a break.
Yeah, because if you push back, you're just going to like
make bad radio.
You're going to make bad radio and you're going to sound like an idiot. But if you lean into it, you're going to sound like, oh, this person knows like how to have fun.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned to do with like, my voice. Like I don't care anymore. It's like just whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
plus I've heard pretty much all the jokes, so like none of the jokes really like bother me that much anymore.
Yeah, and at least you're actually getting out there talking. I mean, some people don't do that even. So even you when you first started with the Furman and No back in the day, I believe. It was Furman and No. You weren't. Chris P was doing the BBB for a long time. So then you finally dug into it and started talking and getting your hot takes out there and doing the bottom barrel betting, and now you're starting to crack the mic on shows, I've noticed too. So good job by you.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, you have to do it at some point. I mean,
I wasn't cracks the mic a lot for Arnie.
Yeah. But at the same time, I also think that there's like a good middle ground.
Yeah.
Like I pick my spots. I'm not going to take over a show.
No.
I want to, if they address me, I will get on the air.
Yeah.
If I really, 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 really want to say something, I will get in their ear first and, present them with the offer. And then if they want to take it, it's up to them.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
let's get back to some a couple more SDSU questions here real quick, BT. Why don't we go? Is there, what's a certain player for, on the Aztecs that people aren't, that's kind of underrated that, you think is crucial to have a good game, and if he does, they're going to win? Like, who's that player for you? Who should we watch out for?
Well, I would say Matt Bradley, but Matt Bradley's had a terrible last two games. He didn't score till very late in the game against Alabama, and I believe he was held to, I think it was only like 2 points against Creighton. So he's had a rough go this these last two rounds of the NCAA tournament, and he was I believe the Mountain West of the Conference Player of the Year last year. And it's really going to come down to, can they get them going? Because I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it goes back to the Aztecs are a defensive team. Their offense struggles a lot. So really their offense kind of relies on one guy being able to carry most of the work and the other guys just making contributions here and there. Yeah. So I think Matt Bradley is really going to have to kind of figure it out, or figure out a way to make himself more of an asset during the, during the Final Four. Another player I want to watch out for too is Lamont Butler. Lamont Butler has had a fantastic tournament, and he's kind of flown under the radar. I believe he had 18 points last game against Creighton. He's a good shooter. He's a good mid-range shooter, which really the mid-range game won them that game against Creighton. Because, Kalkbrenner for Creighton, he's 7'1". It's very hard to get into the lane and drive the basket. So San Diego State had to pull up a lot from mid-range and take longer jump shots. And their ability to hit those shots really won them that game. Late in the game, when they were going back and forth, basically trading baskets, almost every single basket San Diego State made was a mid-range jumper, which in the past, that was like, it was impossible for them to make a mid-range jumper. So, I think Matt Bradley's going to really have to step it up. Another guy to watch out for is Lamont Butler.
Yep.
Obviously Nate Menza and a rope, the two bigs. If they could get it going inside, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
For sure. Like you said, that San Diego State struggles offensively, and Florida Atlantic, is actually a good team. I believe they've been doing a lot on the offense during this tournament. So it really comes down to the defense for you guys. Like you said, if these guys can get their stops, if Matt Bradley can play some offense, I think it's definitely what's going to need to happen if you guys even want to have a chance of winning this game. As much as I like to troll Arnie or Florida Atlantic, because who you can. They've done really good this tournament. They're another team that's kind of came out of the radar. No one expected Florida Atlantic to be in the Final Four. Everybody's bracket. The thing with this tournament is everybody's bracket is just busted. People at Arizona who got bounced on the first day. You got teams like, Bama. People probably thinking Bama's going to be good because of their seeding, or about Virginia. I'm blanking on the other teams, but everyone's bracket just got absolutely busted this year. So, people didn't really have UConn making the Final Four either. I feel like a lot of people just kind of guess on the brackets at this point, and I feel like a lot of casuals do it. So, but a lot of for real, college basketball analysts or fans or whatever, just everyone's been wrong on this tournament. And we were saying this earlier. That's kind of the beauty of it. The parity of not expecting what we're expecting is, I'm sure a lot of people are, I want all these good teams to make it, For me, all these low-key teams, it makes me want to watch more, to learn more about these programs, to see what it's about and the difference. And I know college basketball is different than college football. There's more differences in college basketball than football. With the expansion for college football, I think that is definitely going to help. Those one and dones, that's a lot of it too. Compared to the NBA, where these are one and done games. So if you have one little bit of an off game, it's costing your whole season. Compared to where the NBA, you got 7-game series to prove yourself in the playoffs.
Well, I just think too, going back to what you were saying about people not really enjoying this Final Four, or the lack of blue bloods is hurting the sport. What?
Yeah, it's
Jonas, not. I was surprised that Jonas took that stance when I produced his Saturday show last week.
Yeah.
And that's the one time I've ever really been really, Jonas? Come on, man. But it's all good. It's his opinion.
Yep.
He's entitled to it.
Yep.
I respect it. But I think it just gives other, like you were saying, it puts other schools at kind of the forefront and the spotlight. It's think of how much, and I hate thinking about it this way in a business aspect, but think of how much advertising money schools like Florida Atlantic,
or even San Diego State, yeah.
And this is a crucial time, for San Diego State to get this national notoriety, because the Pac-12 is looking for somebody to fill the void that UCLA and USC are going to leave. Okay? If I'm the Pac-12 and I see San Diego State make the Final Four, And I look at their football record from the last 10 seasons, which has been pretty impressive. Not going to lie. I mean, nothing crazy national, but they just built a new stadium. They've been really good in bowl games. They've been great in the Mountain West. They've been very consistent against ranked opponents, and they've beaten some ranked opponents. You look at that, and if you're the Pac-12, you're like, I think we have our Southern California market. Like, why the hell wouldn't you? I mean, who else are you going to take in the Southern California region? I mean, no offense, but you're going to take USD?
Yeah, no.
You're not going to do that. So this is a crucial time. This is a great time for San Diego State to make the Final Four because, I mean, this could be pretty much the thing that punches their ticket to the Pac-12.
It could save the Pac-12
gets them
too.
out of the, save the Pac-12. It could get San Diego State so much more in recruiting and TV money and assets. And, you know, hopefully that they reinvest back into some of the students. And, you know, that would be great as well. Yeah. But, I mean, we kind of know sports run colleges, unfortunately. So
yeah. I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, sports are a big part of, especially, you know, like those D1 schools. I mean, sports, you know, if you have a good athletic program, I mean, you're definitely, you know, that's just how you make your money. And I mean, it, you know, and at the end of the day, like you said, I mean, like it or not, school, sports, it all comes back to a business. I mean, like the NFL is a business, the NBA is a business, the NCAA, yeah, it's for students, but it's a business. They want their money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna miss your brand new Fool appearances on Bernie. You had some great ones.
Thank you.
What's been your favorite? It could be you, or it could be even a K-Dub or Chris Perfett, or you. What's your favorite brand new Fool story on the Bernie Fratto show?
I don't even know if I can remember all of them.
There's one that I sent to you guys that I really wish one of you chose a couple months ago, where this guy, I'm trying to get the details right here. He robbed like he stole someone's iPad, and then like he got caught up, and then like he basically ended up like getting his fingerprints on the iPad, and then he ended up like using the bathroom in the sink at a public place, you know, and so like they pinned him for like 4 different crimes. It was like 30 minutes from my house. And then another one was this guy, this man and woman, this is even closer to my house, like probably 15, 20 minutes away on a good day, no traffic, stole from I believe a Rite Aid. I don't know if you guys had those in SoCal, but
I just went to one today.
Yeah, it's like
if you
guys don't know, it's like a Walgreens, you know, just pharmaceutical or pharmacy, all that, you know. They stole from it, and then they ended up coming back because they forgot something, starting an argument with the store, accusing the store of stealing, and then getting arrested. So I mean, that's a what kind of brand new Fool situation are you? I know you weren't on this weekend, but the one the ice cream truck that Bernie was talking about that was selling drugs on the side.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
see, that's just good business practice. I don't really think that's a fool. That's just a guy who knows. You know, he knows how to corner the market.
You know, okay, what I think makes her the fool is, and this one is her brake lights and all that were out. If she had no brake lights, her brake lights were fine or whatever it was.
And that's what she
would have still been running the streets of, yeah, I believe so. Or some, It was some stupid thing like that.
If you can afford, that's the thing. If you can afford to sell drugs, you can afford to get your brake lights fixed.
Maybe she was doing too much drugs to where like her brain was melting. She forgot the brake lights were out. I mean,
hey man, don't get high on your own supply. I mean, I can't tell you.
Yeah, that was in Slidell, Louisiana. I mean, they're probably a different breed out there. You never know.
I think I remember that story because I told Bernie I've been to Slidell.
Yes, you did it twice. I think there was an update on it because when I think it was Patrick in last week, and he shared it with him too. And I think it was a whole different crew actually. I think it was Kevin instead of Nick or something. And yeah, that one. No, it was K Fig last weekend, the one that you weren't on. That so like it was all different people besides Mark. That's probably why I shared it. And yeah, I mean, what is there in Slidell? I mean,
what is there in Slidell?
Is it even cool? Like,
oh man, it is a bustling city. Just so much to do. No, dude, there's nothing. It's like 40 minutes outside of New Orleans, like the kind of the French Quarter area, the city.
Yep.
It's like 40 minutes outside of that, and most of the drive is across this bridge.
Bruh.
I can't remember the name of the bridge, but I know it's right across a lake, and it's Lake Pontchartrain, one of the biggest lakes in Louisiana, I believe. And most of the drive is it's basically just gunning it across this bridge. And then you hit this little podunk town, called Slidell.
Yeah, that does sound pretty boring.
I mean, the people there are wonderful. I mean, our friends who live out there are wonderful people.
Yeah, for sure.
But the city itself is pretty boring.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those. Now you're going to be at a bar Saturday, and obviously this is like your kind of Super Bowl or NFC AFC Championship. What are you? What is your spread? Right? Are you ordering the wings? You ordering the cheese curds? What are you ordering at the bar, or what are you making at your friend's house for the food supply for the game?
Well, I'm gonna have to make sure I eat something this time because I didn't eat anything last time, and I got kind of sick. So I was so nervous, I actually forgot to eat and I forgot to drink most of the day, and actually ended up getting a little sick that night. So, I don't know, man. I'm typically at a bar. I mean, it really depends on what they have. I'm kind of like I like everything.
What's your go-to wing flavor?
Probably like a mild buffalo, and then like if they have a Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm getting the mild buffalo because I don't want it too spicy, but I want the buffalo flavor.
Yeah, fair. Fair.
So I don't want to singe my mouth on fire because
I've got 3 drinks to wash your wings down.
I had some hot wings actually not hot wings, but I have some hot sauce in the fridge. You ever seen the show Hot Ones? You've heard of the show Hot Ones?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
There's a sauce on there called the Bomb, and I've tried that. I actually brought it into work one time and I gave it to some people. Patrick tried it. Rob G tried it, and it messed him up pretty good.
You gotta bring it today and get Tysher to try it on the. He'd do it for the TikTok probably.
Tysher has tried it, I believe.
Rob Parker? That would be hilarious.
It's spicy,
Brandon. Can you get me some water?
Dude, Rob G. I think that's what gave Rob G. What got Rob G. sick. Honestly,
you ruined his life for 3 weeks with some bomb hot sauce.
Ruined his life for 3 weeks.
Couldn't even watch his Lakers game.
After he ate that hot sauce, man, his life went downhill. No, I'm kidding.
Shout out Rob G. He's
the best. The best.
Have you done any of that crazy hot besides the bomb? Have you done the ghost pepper?
I did the whole flat. My friends and we did it one time, the Hot Wings or Hot Ones challenge.
Yeah.
And it was brutal, man. It was definitely not our best idea. But it was an experience. But no, I'm a mild buffalo guy.
I'm garlic parmesan or buffalo.
I like Parmesan garlic.
Yeah.
Wings too. They have another one. It's like an Asian zing.
Yeah. Now that you bring it up, are you you said B-dubs. It's now that I'm thinking, I don't know if you guys have it in your area, but on our B-dubs on Thursdays, it's buy one get one free boneless.
I don't know if we have that.
Yeah, we have that.
I don't eat Buffalo Wild Wings very often. I don't really eat out often. I like to cook. So
cooking with Brandon.
Yeah.
All right, we'll change up a couple more questions here. What do you cook? What are you good at?
I like pasta. I cook a lot of pasta. I've got some good leftover broccoli and garlic pasta tonight, or for tonight. I just got an air fryer for Christmas, so
the air fryer is the best kitchen appliance.
Been utilizing that. Been making my own homemade fries, just cutting up potatoes, and I like making I make burgers and I make tacos and burritos and stuff. I I try
Have you
to cook
talked to
my own
Noah about
stuff.
tacos? Brian Noah? Have you heard
Brian, no.
his horrible opinion on tacos?
What is it?
This guy puts Velveeta cheese on his taco.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
I mean, we're not at like Jack in the Box. Like,
Yeah,
what
I
is
mean,
this?
but also this is coming from a guy who grew up in South Bend, Indiana. Like,
True.
or is from
Yeah.
South Bend, Indiana. He's never had a legit. I mean, he was just in LA, so he probably did have some good.
No, you know we went right to El Pollo Loco. You know,
and
Brian.
he does go. He does go to Mexico and stuff. I believe his girlfriend is from Mexico.
Yeah, he's been posting a lot. It seems like him and his girl are getting out and hitting up like basketball games and doing a bunch of stuff. So it's cool to see.
So I'm sure he's had like legit tacos before. So I mean, it's
a bad take, but like I understand.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's they probably don't cook their tacos very good in South Bend, Indiana. No offense, but
no. Like, I mean, I was privileged growing up in San Diego, like the best Mexican food on the planet.
Oh man,
like I've come to LA and I'm trying to find some good Mexican food, and I finally found a spot that does burritos really well because I'm a burrito guy.
Yeah, me too.
I like burritos. I mean,
I agree. I mean, the street taco. If you give me street taco or burrito, I'm choosing burrito any day of the week. I mean, carne asada.
Yeah, I love street tacos too.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
But if I had a choice, I'd certainly take burritos. And I finally found a good burrito spot after like a couple botched attempts at some other places. But
I saw this YouTube video about like a breakfast burrito or burrito spot, and I believe it's called Burrito Bomba, but it's in SoCal, and apparently it was like a 5-star burrito place. Like I believe it was a food truck too. I saw it like 3 years ago. I don't know. I think they actually did survive COVID because I saw something on my Instagram feed about them a while ago, and so I mean that could be good. But I mean I know a lot of the FSR guys like Bursch and Rob G and Iowa Sam. They're El Pollo Loco guys. I mean you always hear about the FSR guys talk about El Pollo Loco right across the street.
Well, it's just because it's close and convenient. Like,
is it not that good?
It's like a step up from like Taco Bell. It's not like
Del Taco.
Maybe I haven't really had much Del Taco.
Yeah,
but their chicken's good. I will give them that. I mean, it is called the Crazy Chicken. Yeah, so their chicken better be good.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, it's you get what you pay for. Like
cheap Mexican.
They have coupons, and I use them, and they're not bad. But outside of what they offer me on the coupons, like I don't really explore outside of that. I usually just if I have a coupon and I don't feel like cooking one night, I'll go get El Pollo Loco. But I don't. Have you heard
the Jonas Rob Parker El Pollo Loco story?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't heard that one.
Rob and Jonas, this is a while ago, like back when Jonas was filling in on Odd Couple before Two Pros. They go to El Pollo Loco for lunch one time, and Rob, ordered his, Diet Coke, right? Turns out the price raised by 12 cents. So Rob is, Rob's a top 5 cheapskate. No offense, but that's just how Rob is. So he gets all pressed about he's yelling at this poor lady. I think it's a little over exaggerated because how Jonas is for this 12-cent price raise in their large Diet Cokes. So how Rob is with that cheap, with the cheap stuff, and how Jonas is witnessing that. Of course, Jonas is gonna bring that up all the time.
That's awesome. I mean, El Pollo Loco's fine. But yeah, I like the authentic stuff.
That's the thing about living here and like in the Olympia area, there isn't really much authentic. Like we have good Mexican, but I don't really think it's like true authentic. Like if I went to San Diego, like I don't think it would compare to that at all.
I tell people all the time, like they ask me like, what's the best spot in San Diego? And honestly, there's too many good ones. There really are. So I typically tell people like, if you walk in and like it smells like they're trying to cover something up, like it just smells way too much like cleaning products. The food is amazing. It has to be.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to cover up like all of the FDA like or whatever they call it, the violations that they're
health code.
They're the health code violations. Thank you, that they're committing. So it really just like anything that ends in Bertos, like Rigobertos, Albertos.
Oh, we have an Albertos.
Humbertos is usually pretty trustworthy.
We have an Albertos right up the road.
The food is probably really good, but like.
Yeah. We have an Albertos, man. It's great. I think, and it's actually called Albertos California style Mexican food. So maybe that's the same thing you guys have down there. I mean, I'm my go-to there. They have this crazy burrito. It's a breakfast burrito with eggs, bacon, ham, sausage, potatoes, cheese, and they got like their own. You have to ask them for the salsa, then you put the salsa on yourself. It's phenomenal, and it's cheap. It's like $9 for a huge burrito.
Yeah, I have a rule for burritos, by the way, too, is once the burrito is wrapped, it's done. You don't unwrap the burrito.
No, I've tried that. I've tried to ask them to put the salsa on, but like they don't really understand like what I mean. I mean,
here's the thing.
Leave it there, but
you better like if they put the salsa on in there before, you better tell them before they wrap it. Because if you're the type of person that when you sit down, you realize, oh, there's no salsa in this.
I unwrap
and
it.
And then you unwrap the burrito and then you pour the salsa in and then you try to rewrap it. You've ruined it. Because
that's
you've
fair.
Just basically just destroyed all the flavor that was wrapped by the artist. That's what they are. They're artists.
Artists, okay? Like Subway, like they're sandwich artists, but for
burritos. Exactly. Except they don't have a weird spokesperson.
No,
but,
True.
But you just the way to eat a burrito is like with the salsa. If the salsa's not already in it, you either take a spoon or you take the the salsa dipping cup and you just pour it on yourself and you pour it on each bite.
Yep.
That's how you do it. You don't unwrap the burrito, pour it all in, and let's get out of here with that. It's gross.
We're running a little well on time here, so quick final score prediction for Saturday.
Final score prediction? Oh my god.
Yeah, real tricky question right there.
I think it's going to be. Well, here's the thing too. Okay, so they're playing in Houston, and they're playing in this giant football stadium. Okay, so here's one of my biggest concerns: San Diego State when they play outside, because they played on the Midway before, which is a Navy ship or an aircraft carrier ship in San Diego Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also played a game at Petco Park. And both games, they lost and shot terribly. So I'm a little worried about, the sight lines and everything of playing in a massive arena or a massive stadium compared to, a regulation, typical basketball arena.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say I'll say 63-59.
All right. And then that's definitely the under.
That's the under?
I don't even know the line. I'm just guessing that's the under because that's like probably 169. That's probably like 120 something. I'm gonna say
63-59.
I'm gonna say San Diego State 66, Florida Atlantic 64. I think it's coming down to that like final shot. I think it's gonna be a nail biter. This has been Blindside Sports. Brandon Truffa, thanks for stepping in again, man. Last minute
anytime you
call
want
to action.
Yeah, of course, anytime, man. I enjoy talking to you all the time.
Yep, and you're gonna that Sunday show after the championship or after the Final Four. I hope it goes in your favor, so you and Ephraim can have a great show with Willard, and you can rub it in Arnie's face that his pick got you the win. So I'm pulling for San Diego State. I kind of hope UConn kind of go. I hope it's San Diego State UConn in the championship. That's what I hope.
That'd be a good Final Four. I mean, that'd be a good. National championship. I mean, UConn was the team that knocked out that 2010-11 San Diego State team with Kawhi on it. That made it to the Sweet 16.
The year before Kawhi got drafted.
Yep, that was Kawhi's last year in San Diego, and that was the Kemba Walker year.
Wow.
That was that amazing run.
Talk about that dude fell off. I mean, I know we're getting out of here, but Kemba Walker, that dude used to be like a 20-point per game scorer, and I don't even know where he is now. I mean, it kind of sucks. I mean, I thought Kemba was a cool player, and like I thought he was actually really good with Charlotte back in the day, but
if he didn't exist, man, San Diego State would have a title because they would have.
Yeah.
They would have won it all that year. I mean, look at the Final Four.
Yeah, you got to hate the injury bug.
You know, so.
Yep. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave a like. Go follow me and Brandon on social media. I'll put that in the comments. I'll be posting some clips later on Instagram at blindside_sports. Clips of the show, clips of what Brandon said about San Diego State, whatever I decide to clip. So if you want to go check it out, share it with your friends, you can do that. Thank you for watching. Shout out to to Brandon for jumping on. Like I said, I'm rooting for SDSU for Brandon. I think this weekend's gonna be a great Final Four. If you enjoyed the show, like I said, leave a like. See ya.
Go ahead, 6.